What is your favorite anime?
Mine's Skrillex.
Skrillex.
I'm so distanced from human sensibilities and stuff.
Was getting caught part of your plan?
Put your tray table up and your seat in that full, upright position, because this is The Flight Plan, the official podcast of Big Guy For You Scanlations, Japan's #1 Bane posting manga scanlation podcast. Join the flight crew, Tom and Aiden, as we bants about all the anime, the manga, and the scanlation content. What are we talking about today, Tom?
Well, you can't tell, but I'm extremely excited. I just don't emote because I'm like a robot autism, but I'm very excited to do this episode. We are talking about Antarctica Girls, the final chapter, conclusion.
It's the final countdown. Da-na-na-na.
Yeah, okay, hold on, stop. You can't sing any much more. We're going to get flagged. In fact, you might have sung too much.
It's it. We're demonetized.
Yep.
We're banned.
This has been like over a year in the making. My first chapter that I put out was March 13th, and that's just over a year ago.
And it took you a year to get, what, 15 chapters?
Okay, I know I've slowed down, but I'm not that bad. I mean, it's a monthly manga. Although when I started, I think there were 4 chapters out, maybe 5. So those were weekly, and then now it's like every 3 months.
Now, it's not actually called Antarctica Girls. What's the official title so people can look it up?
A Place Further Than the Universe is like the official romanized name that it goes by.
All right, and then all the links to all the chapters are down below in the description if you ever want to click on that. Let's give a little bit of a summary of what it...
Well, before we get too I couldn't think of any kind of pun related. I was just... before we get too neck deep into it, is that how you say it? Knee deep? Neck deep? Before we get deep at all into it.
Too deep for me.
I have a little bit of top of the show stuff. I wanna ask a question. What did he mean by this kind of thing? So on my last chapter of, what do I call it? Monster Girl Village? I don't know. I don't have a code name for it. Somebody posted, "This is mighty big of you giving us an update." Okay, now what did he mean by that? Should I be offended? Is he making like...
No.
Is he saying because I'm like 5 months late on everything?
No, he's not thinking that far. He's just making a Big Guy For You thing. He's just... Okay, well, I explained this when he first made the post. It's nothing... that's not an insult or anything.
Or could it be because... Is he referring to an update as in a chapter is an update, like a new chapter? Or could he mean that since on the end page I said something like, oh, I'm about to finish up Antarctica Girl, so I'll, hopefully I'll update more than like once a month. That is an update.
I think you're reading too much into it.
I don't know. I just don't know if I should be offended or not. So my default is offended. So,
hey, you can't get offended on everything or people won't be leaving us comments.
Yes, well, true goddess reincarnation, I've got your number. You're going down.
our fan who decided to leave a comment now has a fatwa.
Oh, speaking of fatwas, I almost forgot. I have one against manga decks to launch into. So now I think they make you log in to read a manga. Is that true?
I don't think so, but I'm always logged in, so I don't know. Well,
they log me out all the time. But I went to go look for Antarctica Girls to reread it, to catch up for this episode. And I went to search for it. And it made me log into search. So it might not be like for reading, but for searching you need to log in.
Now, weirdly, it's been often that I'll log into MangaDex or I'll just go onto the website and I'll be prompted with a CAPTCHA.
I've seen that too, and that's the second part of the fatwa.
That's like 3 times now. I've never had that happen before, but the whole page, before it even loads, you have to do a CAPTCHA.
And it's the worst kind, too, because it's the one that feeds the Google AI, where it's like, this is what a bus is, this is what a human looks like, this is what my social security number looks like.
We're literally programming computers to kill us.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
They use that data to figure out which pedestrian to hit. Like, they rank them in their algorithm.
Well, you know how, like, China has that, like, AI where they have, like, cameras everywhere, and they can identify you by your face.
Yeah.
And they like know where everyone is at all times.
Now they have a thing at Chinese airports where you don't even need a ticket. They just scan your face and let you through security. Yeah.
No.
It's awful.
I hate that. Well, thank God I'm American and not Chinese, even though that's
God bless America.
I'm sure that's coming here in like 3 years.
If it's not already here.
If America's still around in 3 years. All right, so I think that's it for my fatwa. That's it for my top of the show stuff. So unless you have anything, I think now you can jump into your explanation.
Filled with an overwhelming sense of wonder for the world around her, Tamaki has always dreamt of what lies beyond the reaches of the universe. However, despite harboring such large aspirations on the inside, her fear of the unknown and anxiety over her possible limitations have always held her back from chasing them. But now, in her second year of high school, Mary is more determined than ever to not let any more of her youth go to waste. That sounds like all of us.
Except we did the opposite route, where we
Let it
our
go to
youth
waste.
go to waste.
Still, her fear continues to prevent her from taking that ambitious step forward. That is, until she has a chance encounter with a girl who has grand dreams of her own. Spurred by her mother's disappearance, Kombucha has been working hard to fund her trip to Antarctica, despite facing doubts and ridicule from virtually everyone. Shiraz is determined to embark on this expedition to search for her mother in a place further than the universe itself.
Not really, though. I mean, scientifically speaking, Antarctica is a lot closer than the universe. Well, we're in the universe, so I guess technically the universe is right here as well.
Soon they get together in their efforts to attract the attention of the bubbly Hinata, who's eager Pinata to stand out. Shiraz and a polite girl from her class, something. Anyway,
I mean, this is a lot for like an explanation.
These girls come together. It's a bunch of cute girls, and they go to Antarctica.
So, I mean, this will be huge spoilers. If you haven't read this, go read it. If you don't care about spoilers and you haven't read it, keep listening.
So basically, this girl teams up with some friends her own age and goes on an adventure to find her missing mother. Yep. Basically, it's a snowy Made in Abyss, is what this is.
You know, I forgot that there was a whole searching for her mom angle in Made in Abyss. I've only seen like a couple episodes, and it's one of my greatest shames as an anime weeaboo fan that I haven't actually seen it.
So I haven't watched the anime, even though I hear it's really great. The manga is sick. The manga, sure. I think, is better than... It's so good. I've read almost all of Made in Abyss, but that's a monthly as well, as well as this is, and it takes forever. I would sit down and read a novel based on it any day.
I want to play that video game,
and the first person to come up with a video game will sell it more than Minecraft to capture that feeling. Because that's the same.
Maybe true, maybe not true.
That's the same. When I was reading Made in Abyss, that was the same type of feeling I got the first time I played Minecraft back in 2011. I was like, this world is open for a grand adventure. Like, I can explore. Yeah. I can. It's a whole new world.
And then you downloaded the Ether mod, and you're like, wow, this is like that, but times 10.
The Aether.
Ether is how you pronounce it.
Is it? All right. Well, that was a sick mod. I remember playing that, watching Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, AE is actually Aegis, like, you know, AE, like
Aegis.
It's the E sound.
Aegis.
No, Aegis, the robot.
Angus.
Yeah, Angus, the robot from Persona. Oh man, we've gone too far off course.
Anyway,
we've gone further than the universe off course.
Wow, that's a great pun.
Wow.
Anyway, well, Snowy Made in Abyss is further than the universe. It's got good art, cool premise, cute girls, and great translation.
Wow, I'm not so sure about that. Maybe that's a good place to jump into one of my first points.
Well, my one more thing is even better end pages.
Oh, nice. So I agree.
Go and read it while you're listening to the podcast or after, but don't stop listening to this on YouTube.
Never stop.
Because YouTube does by watch time, and if you end the episode this quickly, then it won't show it to other people. So just watch this all the way. Even if you don't want to watch our episodes, just let it play in the background. You can mute it. Thank you for that.
Yeah, conversely, though, if you're listening on like a podcast app, then it's only downloads that counts. So you're good. So go pause it and read the stuff.
So the manga has an 8.65 out of 10, and it's ranked number 57 on my anime list. So you're going to want to go watch
weird
it.
Research.
I wanted to have some notes.
Nice. Well, you know, actually, you were talking about how great the translation is, and you know, this is such a painful experience for me to reread through, especially the earlier chapters, because this was like my first scanlation in a long time, like 5 years, because I did like about 100 pages of a manga like 2013, like a long time ago. So I was really rusty coming back into this, and I made so many terrible mistakes. The first page alone, the first page with text, I have like a number error. It's like 14,000 is the actual number it's supposed to be. I did 1,400. I think I'm retarded when it comes to numbers. And I blame most of that on actually how Japanese does their numbers. And Chinese does this too.
They do it based in 4 instead of based in 3.
To an extent. I mean, they have They have like a kanji for 1, for 10, for 100, for 1,000, for 10,000, but not for 100,000. Like a million, they represent it as 110,000s. And that is something that I tripped up on a lot, apparently, as I reread through this. At one point, the main character, well, she's the main character in the manga, actually.
Kombucha?
Yeah.
Shiraz, yeah.
Kombucha,
Like
yeah.
the wine. It's the wine. Shiraz is a wine,
Is it?
and kombucha is another fermented beverage. So the whole cast is basically named after drinks.
What is
that's
this, Sword Girl?
That's a motif that underlies this entire manga.
Anyway, she collects like 1 million yen. That's like her big like achievement early on.
Which is basically like 10 USD. Is that right?
No, it's I believe 10,000.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Because it's 110,000 is how it's written.
Can you get to Antarctica for $10,000?
Well, we'll see. You know, don't jump too many chapters ahead. In anime land, you could do anything, especially if you're a cute girl. And like in the first chapter, at one point I say 100 million. Like a couple pages after I say 1 million. It's like how do I make that mistake?
To be fair, I didn't notice it when I was reading, and I doubt most people will.
I doubt most people will as well. And then even as late as chapter 11, I had it as 10 million. It's just embarrassing.
Well, I think, you know, you are your harshest critic.
Of course.
Nobody else noticed it, and
Yeah.
you were talking about maybe the spacing of the bubbles weren't incorrect.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice
it was
any
really
of it.
bad. It was really bad, especially early on. Page 1, like nothing is aligned properly. And like there's even in chapter 1, somebody says like, you know, like UHH, and I typoed UJH. Just minor stuff like that, where one situation I said bit instead of butt. It's just real bush league embarrassing stuff.
Need a proofreader.
Yeah, I did.
Apply now on our website, meatspin.com.
Oh, don't do that. No. And like stuff like, there's a place in Australia, Fremantle, and based on the pronunciation, I spelled it Free a lot, but it's only one E. It's just minor stuff where it's like, nobody cares. Except for me, and I really care about that. And reading this was so painful. Like you heard me while I was rereading it, where I was like groaning and like, I don't know, just lamenting my mistakes.
Well, what we'll have to do is do a remastered Game of the Year version.
See, I've kind of toyed with that idea. I want to. I realistically will probably never get around to it.
Get you some more views.
Not really.
Well, actually, yeah. You know what you could do is do a. I think with MangaDex and a lot of other sites, when you refresh a chapter, it pops back up to the top of the stack. So people see it as a new manga. So that might actually be something new if you want to get more views.
It would be like a big undertaking because I would want to do it real professional if I'm going to, you know, remaster it. There were also like lots of weird terminology mistakes that I made, like I've changed throughout. You remember the captain?
No.
Captain Todo or something?
Oh, yes.
Or Geen, I think was her name. I think it was
Captain
like Geen
Toto Annihilation.
In one of the chapters, I called her Commander because I'm a retard.
Nobody will ever see that. Like Captain Commander
it's one of my greatest
thing.
shames. But it's like, just fix stuff like that. It is like the main motivation behind me wanting to do a remaster. But I never will. But you know, it's just, it'll always be there in the back of my mind as something that I kind of want to do.
While we're critiquing it, I think we should change the font. I don't really like how comic booky it is. Or
what?
I think actually it's the fact that it's not in all caps.
No, wrong.
No,
You're
all
wrong.
other mangas have full caps.
Not all, only the bad ones.
Most mangas
doesn't
have
matter.
all caps.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't look good. You know what it looks like? It looks like it doesn't look professional. Is what it is. It looks like a kid did it. All the professional one. I'll tell you what. How about I make this case?
Yeah, but that convention comes from Western comics, and Western comics are trash.
Okay, if you look at how they're professionally translated,
yeah,
that's what they're looking for.
Yeah,
that's the professional standard, and I bet you got marked off on that scanlation contest because you didn't do all caps.
No,
I don't know. You don't know that.
No, I do, because they wouldn't care about that. They would just caps lock it when they type it in.
You didn't scanlate it anyway.
Yeah, I just translated it.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely not.
But you notice that all of the professional ones do all caps. I think that's a standard you ought to consider because I
think it's a bad standard, though. I think it looks hideous.
I think it looks better than this.
How do you capitalize words for emphasis?
You bold it or italicize it.
You can do both.
I don't know. I was just, when I first started reading it again, I was looking at it and I was like, why does this feel off? Why does this seem less professional? And that's what it was. So I'm just giving you that.
A big thing, especially in the earlier chapters, this is something I've only started to do with like the last few chapters of, you know, any manga that I've translated, where I have a smaller font. Especially the early chapters of Antarctica Girls, I had huge font, like trying to take up as much space as I could in the bubbles, and I somehow noticed really late that looks bad. So that could have also contributed to that feeling.
Possibly, but I still think it was because I looked. I was like, "What's the difference?" I actually clicked on another manga, one that I know I like, and I was like, "What's the difference?" And I started looking at the font. I was like, the font's not that different.
The
It was
font
very
is
similar.
also a different font from the normal one. I think most people use what's called like wild words, and mine is also a comic book font that I use, but that could contribute as well.
Well, I don't think it was so much the font. I do think it was the caps. So I don't know. Somebody leave a comment if you guys like the full caps or the normal written words.
But if you like full caps, then your comment will be ignored, and I will not change my mind.
I'm gonna try and convince him.
I mean, at this point, it's a little bit of sunk cost fallacy.
No, I'm talking for next mangas, not necessarily this one.
Right.
This one you should finish up normal.
Yeah, well, the one I'm on now, I have 14 chapters left. I'm like 6 out of 20 in, and I'm not going to change that.
Well, for the next project.
Maybe. But yeah, I'm not too sure.
So do we want to start talking about the content of the manga?
Yeah,
or do
let's
you
go
have...
ahead. Let's go ahead. What do you have?
Well, I kind of like the attitude of the main girl, at least in the first couple chapters.
Now, who do you consider the main girl?
I don't know. Kombucha was the main girl.
Shiraz or whatever, what you call her?
Kombucha is a different person than Shiraz.
No. Kobuchizawa Shirase, that's the long-haired girl whose mom is lost.
I can never follow when the Japanese switch up their first name and their last name and they use all different things. Not the fact that I can't pronounce or understand most Japanese names unless it's Naruto.
Of course.
Early on, she loses her $100,000, $10,000, or $12 million, depending on which chapter,
page you're reading.
It's and she has a little panic attack, but then she's like, "I'll just have to earn it again," which I thought was a very commendable thing. Like she's like so determined to do that, not even a setback. Goes into that. That's one of the early and one of the few things I like about it.
Harsh. Something interesting though, kind of about how you said she's the main character. In the anime, it's actually kind of different for the first few episodes. Kimari is like the main girl.
Well, what was weird is when I was reading that description from my anime list, it's not Shiraz that's the main girl. It's Hinata or
Kimari.
Kimari, isn't it Kimari Hinata?
No. Hinata's the track field one, the one who dropped out of school because she can't talk to people.
Right. No, wait. Oh God, see.
I told you to take notes. I knew this would be confusing.
I did,
for you.
but I don't know names. I can never do names. That's a running meme.
It's a running reality.
One problem that I do have with them. First of all, let me get this out of the way. Everybody go read the manga. It's great, even if I say bad things.
I liked it a lot.
It's all forced drama, and they really captured women very accurately. I really appreciate the gender equality and stereotype breaking. This is really progressive. Early on, one of the girls who can't talk to people says, "I can't believe you guys are all best friends, and I'm not. Nobody ever said to me, let's be friends." And then she started crying about being alone. And it's like, it really shows how girls can be autistic too.
Dude, especially as I was rereading this, every girl basically, all three of the main four are like autistic in their own way. And that's the part I like about them.
The whole, there's like, it's not a very long thing, but like each chapter, like there'll be a character arc where it shows how one of the girls was freaking out over a misunderstanding or some forced drama in their life. Like they're all like heavily dramaed out people, and it's silly. And then the same autistic girl,
that's Yuzuki for those of you who can follow along, who can understand names. She's the child actress.
She's the long-haired black girl. Not black, but
no. Long hair is the main character, Shirase. Yuzuki is the one who was worried about not having any friends. That's the child actress.
Okay, so these are the notes I took for Yuzuki. Black-haired, big brain nibba.
She's not... Is she big brain?
Well, she's in her first year of high school. She lives in Haidoko, And she's been working since she was a child because of her mother's policy. So her mind's age is greater than her age. That's what the note said. And
I did not pick up on her being smarter than her age.
What are they, like 12 anyway? They all act
they're in
like
high
kids.
School, so they're like 17. No, second year. So
basically
like,
a child.
Yeah, 17. They're not legal though. I remember that was one of the lines. it's like, hey guys, hands off. They're not legal. I'm looking at you, so.
Anyway, it's like the same girl. She's like, don't you think it's unfair? Everyone has a birthday, and yet some people get parties and some don't. I just want to people know the pain that I feel is real.
Okay, well, think about it this way. It's not quite to this extent, but think how messed up all the like girl kid actors are in America. Like they all got Dan Schneidered, and it's like I know Yuzuki didn't, but you know, being a child actress would really mess you up.
So then she has an excuse in the real world, not in this world, because they don't. That's not canon.
No, it is. It totally is.
That she got molested?
Oh, no. The fact that she was a child actor and that stunted her growth.
Yeah, but I mean, okay.
Like,
but
don't you remember that scene where she's like in bed in the hotel and like she thinks like the three other girls are like outside on a ladder saying like, come with us to Antarctica. And then she like falls out of bed and wakes up and then she's like, oh, it was just a dream. She looks at her phone. Her two only like real quote unquote real friends have left her line chat group. It's that's so depressing, dude.
Yeah. She's like, okay, you guys, let's be friends. Here, I drafted up these friendship contracts. Everybody signed. And the girls are like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, we're just friends. And she's like, how could you don't want to be my friend and sign this friendship contract?
Yeah.
Like, now that you know, like, she's a child actress and has developmental problems, it's more understandable. But there's really no excuse for the other girls and their autism as well.
Right. Well, they all have different tisms. Like, Hinata, for example, she drops out of school because, like, she's really good at track, and she got picked for like a track meet over like the third years, and like that was their last chance, and she had like another year to try. But it's like they were kind of slightly mean to her or whatever, like talking behind her back, and then she dropped out of school for that because she couldn't like handle that social pressure, and it's like it's so relatable. She runs from all her problems.
I'll skip to the end and say that I think she's best girl.
Wow.
Because none of them are great.
She is the worst girl.
No.
There was even a comment on one of the chapters, and I talked about it in like many episodes ago. And the guy's like, yeah, Hinata is a best. And I'm like, oof. You could have picked almost anyone else.
No, she's best because her hairstyle's the best.
Interesting theory. It's okay. I mean, all their hairs are kind of okay. Remind me, is the scene in the manga where they're like in a hot tub or whatever together, and
they all take their tops off? Yeah, that one's the best.
Well, yeah, because they're in the hot tub.
I read the extended dojin.
Nice. No, and then Hinata says something about, Kimari says something about how she cuts her own hair, her own bangs, and then the other three girls are like, oh, so that's why they look so bad.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't think that was in the manga.
So we've had a problem with like getting a bunch of views on this for some reason, and I think the main problem is that it's basically a yuri manga, and it's all female style drama.
I would not call it yuri.
That one girl is going out with the other girl.
What are you talking about?
In the chat, okay, so
what manga did you read?
Okay, so early on, the second girl that comes in has a girlfriend with glasses, and she gets all mad.
They're friends.
That's not the wording that you used in the thing.
Okay.
They're like, I'm breaking up with you.
Okay, I can see how that could cause confusion. No, okay. So that's Megu-chan, which is best friends with Kimari. I think one of the panels right before or after that, she says like, our friendship is over. I think breakup might have been a bad word choice.
Yeah, because that totally gave me a different perspective.
In my defense.
Japanese people talk
they
back.
also use that term in subs for the anime.
Then that's
so
like
professionals
Yuri.
made the
That's
same mistake. No, they're not. They're not girlfriends. Trust me.
Well, it's like I don't like how she's like passive aggressive. She's also like,
oh, she's the worst girl.
I just want them to know the pain that I feel. That's the Sam Hyde quote that I keep referencing. She says, a lot of people think you're already getting too big for your britches, which is just a passive-aggressive way to say that she thinks that. It's like, who says that? Well, I just heard it. It's like, no, you didn't.
And all the bad rumors were started by her anyway.
Yeah. It's like, she's a total biatch.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
Because she's...
Why was she going out with her in the first place?
Okay. Her whole stupid gimmick is that, she's like super dependent on Kimari, and then when she's going to Antarctica, Megu's left, and she's like, oh, I can't go. I can't do anything by myself, and I don't want you to do anything by yourself, because then you're not dependent on me. It's dumb, and I hate her as a character, and I hate how she has like a whole chapter to herself.
She's got a couple, cameos, I would say.
Yeah, I do like the conclusion of her arc, though. At, like, the very end, one of the few, last few pages, Kimari's texting her online. She's like, oh, I just got back. And then Megu's like, oh, too bad. And then I like to pretend that she's like, too bad I hate you, But she actually then sends a picture, and she's like, oh, I'm in the North Pole, sucker.
So she's like, I'm gonna develop my own character arc, and you guys are I'm gonna copy you and do
exactly,
just the opposite
but do it worse.
thing. Yeah.
North Pole, what are you gonna do? Play with Santa? No, dude. South Pole's where it's at.
Get those elves.
Yeah.
Early on, there's a funny little thing where all the girls are on the boat on the way there, and one of the dudes comes up to one of the girls, and he's like, I love you, and then the next panel, and he's like, I'm talking about the captain, captain girl.
That works so much better in Japanese. When, he just says, basically the sentence structure, if you were to literally say, is like, I love.
Yeah.
But since he's looking at her, you think he's talking to her, but I actually translate it as, I'm in love. Which is
that's true, yeah.
Kind of ambiguous, but yeah.
He wants that mommy GF.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and he's kind of a beta.
Beta. Amazing.
Yeah, there weren't many great male representations in the show, but I guess it's not really what it was about.
It's a Yuri show. There's no males.
It's not a Yuri show,
dude. There's so many Yuri undertones.
No, there's not. Your mind has been corrupted.
Look, I'm trying to get people to watch it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if that gets the views, then yeah.
But no, unironically, I think there's a lot of heavy undertones, especially when I thought that those two were going out because the wording of that chapter.
I could see that confusion.
Nobody says I'm breaking up with our friendship.
Well, girls might. I don't know.
Well, then you need to put the word friendship in.
I did. I'm almost positive.
Not in that line. Not in that bubble.
No, but it was in the bubble right before or after.
But still breaking up. Is
yeah.
I don't know.
That's
those
true.
Crazy Japs.
I don't know how high school girls talk. I'm a loser. I'm a loser old man.
We're not being good Zoomers.
Yeah. Jumping back around, we were talking about how they have different autisms, and we didn't talk about Shirase's autism, which I like. How I think Ponkotsu this is actually where I learned the term from her, because somebody describes her as that, where it's like she's incompetent at a lot of stuff, even though she is kind of competent at she can get a job and stuff and live on her own. But at one point she's like, "Oh, call this number for me and ask if I can join them on the."
That sounds like me. I don't like calling people on the phone.
Me too. See, I'm literally all of these girls, except I'm a cool old man.
A good 30-year-old boomer.
Yep. Soon enough. And, I like that where she's like, no, I can't call. I'm too spaghetti. I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. I like how they all have little autism things, because the more manga I consume, the more I realize that picture you always send me is correct, where the dude's saying, oh no, it's actually a girl who says it, where aren't girls cute when they're practically retarded?
Yes, that's true.
I think it's true. There's something really endearing about a real spaghetti-slinging retard girl. Not literal retard, I'm throwing these words around, but you know what I mean. Speaking of low IQ stuff, I wonder if you picked up on this, and I know the answer is no, because I didn't even pick up on
the
this.
Yuri undertones, yes.
Did you know that Kimari and Meku-chan were actually girlfriends?
Whoa. I had a feeling about that, but I'm not entirely sure.
Well, maybe if you reread it and read between the lines. No, actually, what I was going to say was
the mom and the captain were gay.
I could see that. Okay, I could see that one.
Yeah.
But I disagree. But I could definitely see where you were coming from. No, during one of the most basically the scene of the show, the whole laptop scene. Did you understand that? Because there was actually a guy in the comments for the manga who didn't pick up on the whole feeling of that scene. So
I didn't get to read the end because it's not done yet.
No, this was in the chapter that was
then
completely
I don't remember.
done. Okay,
when she starts crying. Yeah, I don't like the sad stuff. I don't like sad things.
They find her mom's laptop. Basically, her mom died in Antarctica, and
allegedly.
Okay, yeah.
No, you got to read the Omaki, where her mom actually stumbles into the secret Nazi Antarctica base.
Right. Well, she only went to Antarctica to find Shirase's dad, who is otherwise not mentioned, but it's actually Cyber Robo Hitler who has survived in the Nazi base. And she's trying to find her and reunite to have a whole family
because
reunion.
Antarctica is actually the entrance to the Hollow Earth, the Hollow Globe.
Yeah. Yep. And
that's where the Greys are, and they're giving us secret technology.
well, the lizard men too.
Yes.
and the mole people. Anyway, so they find her mom's laptop, and then Shirase opens it. The password, she tries her mom's birthday, doesn't work. She tries her birthday, and it never explicitly says it's her birthday that she's punching in, like 1011 or whatever it was. 11. No, it's November 1st. So 1101. And a really cool thing about that moment, I didn't know that was her birthday. I didn't pick up on that. And in neither the manga nor the anime do they really spell it out. But something that I thought was really cool was by the time that episode was out, I had already put out 1 or 2 chapters. And I was perusing I think I was on Reddit actually looking for like conversation about the franchise. And somebody was talking about that episode. And they're like, that's Shirase's birthday, the password. I'm like, how does this guy know this? And then his proof was a scanlated page of my stuff that I scanlated. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I made it to the big leagues, boys.
Nice. You were used in forensic detective work.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, that's really cool, because I don't know if they ever say what her birthday is anywhere else, other than, this was, in between chapters. You know how they have, character bios very rarely in some mangas? That was one of those. But, yeah, that was a really cool moment. And, anyway, the rest of, the big brain interpretation of that scene is, she's opening up the laptop, and I guess it's connecting to Wi-Fi, so it's, slowly catching up on all the missed emails over 3 years or something. I don't know. And the number of unread mails just keeps increasing, and they're all from Shirase to her mom.
Oh,
because throughout the whole manga, she's texting her mom updates "Oh, I finally found a friend. I'm gonna come see you in Antarctica." And that's when she breaks down. And there's 3,000 emails or something. It's I forgot, but it was multiple a day is what the math turns out to. And I don't know. In the anime, I think it was a lot more impactful of a scene because you've got the anime, you've got the screaming voice actress.
Music and...
Yeah. I said anime, but I meant... Did I say you've got the anime? Or did I say you got the sound or music? I don't know what I said.
I don't know what he said, yeah.
But you got it all. But I think it was alright in the manga.
I don't like sad things. I don't like drama in general, so this manga, didn't hook me. If it wasn't our manga, I probably wouldn't read it.
Well, what really hooked me was episode 1 of the anime. It was all the whole thing where it's I want to get the most out of my youth. I'm about to graduate high school and I've done nothing.
Oh, you saw Kindred Spirit.
That resonates a lot, And I've actually seen the first episode more times than I care to admit. Not double digits, but more than a couple.
Wow.
Yeah. Especially, this was actually, before episode 2 came out, I'd watched it a few times. And I don't do that with stuff. So that's why I had to pick it up, because I was episode 1 was so strong that, I've got to do the manga. Which, the manga technically came out first.
Trendsetter is what we are.
Yeah.
Basically.
So the anime kind of followed me, if you know what I mean.
They actually saw how great the translation was going. And they're like, wow, we need to make an anime out of this.
Well, to be clear, my translation came out episode 9 or so is when chapter 1 came out. But chapter 1 of the manga came out a week before episode 1 of the anime. I don't know why they did it like that, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, because the manga just recently finished, right?
Yeah.
And the TV show has been way over, so everybody knows the ending. So basically, it was one of those that they made the manga after the anime, is that right? Or did the manga come first?
Yeah, it's technically considered a manga adaptation of the anime, even though chapter 1 came out before episode 1.
I don't like that in most cases. Yeah. Because, especially if it doesn't continue on, because it feels like a shell of whatever. The first thing that happens is always, I think, the best. And there's probably just recency bias in that, or it's the first impression.
Sure.
But I always feel I don't like to go and read the manga version if it's adapted from an anime. I will always prefer the manga version over an anime, but it feels different when it's when it's derivative, I guess would be the word.
Well, and there was a lot of stuff that I think got lost in the translation from anime to manga. Like there were scenes that were cut. There were things that like whole episodes were shuffled around. You know the chapter where they talk about eating the durians in Singapore and like the whole like, oh, I lost my passport, that whole like incident?
Yeah.
That happened in the anime chronologically. So it was like episode 4 or something. Like before they even get on the boat.
Oh, and in the manga it's like a flashback. It's
yeah,
a dream.
And in the manga they go from like being in Japan and then flash cut the next chapter and they're like in Australia ready to board the boat. And they talk about like eating durians, but it's like, I as a reader, what does that mean? What's a durian? When did they eat that?
So it was kind of weird to me because I read kind of quickly and I was like,
yeah.
So they're in Antarctica and she lost her passport. And is there like customs in Antarctica? No. Like I was like, why does she need a passport?
It's like a little penguin at a podium. He's like, meh. Like, give me your passport. Yeah.
But it's like, why are they doing this? And then I'm like, oh, she woke up and it was a dream, or it's like, no, that was a flashback.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it was a flashback. Like
see,
halfway,
I don't like how they do that.
Yeah, it was really poorly handled, and I think it had something to do with like maybe like some kind of bureaucratic editor, like, oh, you got to edit it in this order, or you have to have this scene in this like chapter. I don't know. There was weird shuffling like that.
I think it was a very brave artistic decision for the big twist at the end, where they hit the iceberg and all die.
Yeah, I was actually, not while I was reading the manga, obviously, but while I was watching the anime, I was like really positive that they would find her mom.
Yeah, I kind of was
dead.
too. I thought she would have built an igloo.
Yeah, and she'd be eating like polar bears raw, like just biting into them.
Because I mean, Made in Abyss, that they're gonna find her mom.
I don't know about that, but I mean that's like a fantasy where like you can become like an elder god or something and live forever. But this is like supposed to be real life where a woman can't live in Antarctica for like 3 years by herself.
Oh, it was 3 years? I thought it was like...
I keep thinking it's 3 years.
I thought it was like 3 weeks.
No, it's at least like a year.
Oh, yeah, she's dead.
Yeah,
That's too
totally
bad.
dead.
I mean, the whole... I don't want to read tragedy, drama stuff. Like, the whole premise is faulty to me because it's based on like something sad. It's like, it's a girl show. It's Yuri.
Take offense to that.
It's
because I like
girl
it.
story. Like it's a girl show.
No, you can't say that.
You need to now. You can transition. You identify as a woman.
Oh, don't even joke like that. Because then you'll make me say something that'll get us kicked off YouTube. I mean, yes, I support everybody of all types. Yeah, it's a tragedy, but it's about her getting over it, really.
Yeah, but that's sad too.
At the end, she's like, giving the laptop back to the captain, and she's like, I don't need it anymore. And she's like, I've moved on, basically. That's not sad. I mean, bittersweet at most.
Yeah, but see, I read manga to escape reality, so I want all positive, good vibes.
Well, you get good vibes at the end, because everyone's happy, everyone wins.
It's a bittersweet ending.
Not really.
Oh, it totally is. I'm getting over being devastated in a tragedy. That's
she got over it.
Yeah,
That's
back
happy.
to neutral. There's no positive there. It's back to neutral. Back from a world-shattering defeat and upsetting event.
Look at it this way. She went from a loner, and now she has friends, like really good friends.
No, she doesn't. She didn't sign the contract.
Well, she's friends with the other two.
She didn't sign
Yuzuki doesn't have any friends because nobody signed her contract.
It's a full binding. Tortious interference to the
something like
contract. Friendship with so-and-so ended. Now Pajit, my best friend.
Friendship never started because never signed documents. Yeah, I'm gonna have to draft up some friendship clauses. Or
they used to have some cool ones for like a letter of romantic intent, and it was like a Valentine's Day card, and it was like very formulaic and bureaucratic. It was very funny. I actually put it on Facebook and got a couple likes and comments from girls back when I was in college.
Back when I would communicate at least digitally with girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that bugged me a few times. Like there were articles and stuff I had to translate, and that kind of I hate it when I have to do that. because it's there for like half a panel, if that, and nobody will read it because nobody cares. But one guy will, so I have to translate it for that guy.
Yeah.
And half the time that guy's me. I hate me as a reader. I'm the worst.
Well, I think the best part of the manga every time is the end pages. I think that's I feel like has a lot of creativity. That's where you can really let your spirit flourish, and most of the time they're funny and charming. So if I haven't sold this manga on you, I will sell you on going to read the end pages on each chapter. They're fantastic. They're always jokes and well crafted. And I think I helped with some of them, so that's even better.
I probably doubt that, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
I think I helped with like 2, because it was early on.
Could be.
When I was participating more in the actual work of this and not just doing the podcast editing.
Yeah, true.
Which is arguably a good amount of work too.
Oh, certainly, yeah. There were a few pages where like I started to advance the meta, not only because my ideas were running low, because for this one I only did Bane quotes, like mostly from the plane scene, but a few from like, the rest of the Dark Knight Rises movie.
Nobody cared who I was till I put on the glasses.
That was definitely one of them, yeah. And for some of them, like, and I do this with the current manga too, Monster Girl Village, where I will take a panel from one page and then like mash it with another page just to like create my weird narrative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's fun even, like, to make, your own wacky ideas. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, I think this whole series would make a good movie. It was super short feeling. Like, I reread it recently, and I was reading it, and then I clicked next chapter, and it was the end. Like, I was like, what? Oops. This was so short. It's really only, I think it's 15 chapters.
Yeah, and there's 2 half chapters, which are each like 6 pages. So
you can read it in an hour.
It took me longer, but I was being a bit more meticulous, and I'm a slow reader. But yeah, I mean, it's not that long. It was only a 1-season anime, and I think it was was it 12 episodes? Yeah, it was 12 episodes, maybe 13 actually. And there was a point when I thought the manga would also be 13 chapters, but they went above and beyond.
Yeah, I think it would make a really good, like, 90-minute movie, because it was so short. Like,
yeah, you could cut out the backstories for, like, half of the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And, like...
Honestly, that was my least favorite part out of all of them.
It really started to slog towards the middle, I think.
I think so, yeah, I think so, too. I think it was when they're doing their forced drama together, like, I have such a tragic life, where it's like, what type of tragedy can a normal 15-year-old girl really have gone through?
Apparently not a
None
tragedy.
None of them did. Yeah.
Shirase lost her mom. That is kind of bad.
That's sad. Okay, and that's sad. But the rest of them are like not really. Especially the way it's written. You can argue like the actress girl could get Weinsteined and stuff like that.
Yeah, but she
didn't. And there's no implication
not her
of that.
As well.
Yeah, not her. But it's like it's really. But I guess when you're young like that. Mm-hmm. Everything is so monumental, and everything's a travesty, and like the smallest thing is like, my life is over.
Yeah,
Billy didn't ask me to the prom. Like, the pain. I want everyone to know that it's real. Oh, that's the Sam Hyde.
Yeah, you said that earlier.
I wrote that like 4 times in my notes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the chapters when they were on the boat, those kind of slogged on a bit. And definitely the Hinata backstory where she's talking about, like, I feel like that was 2 whole chapters with her track team. And that, it was just
I think
not
it was
okay.
just 1.
It felt like 2. I think part of it blended over into another chapter.
But she had the best hairstyle.
It's okay, yeah. I mean...
Because, like, the other people either have, like, long hair standard or, like, a bowl cut.
At least, Kimari's hairstyle was justified.
She
in
cuts
the anime,
herself.
at least, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's the bowl cut is the one.
Yeah,
she cuts her own hair. Yeah.
And I think if I had to pick a best girl, she might be it.
Early on, I like. Shoot, what's her name? I like Track Girl just because her cheery disposition was like was good in the early chapters. She's just like, oh, I dropped out of school. I was like, hey, that's cool, And then she's like, I like I'm already applying to college. So she was smart. She's like, drop out of school and just skip a year and go to college and things like that. I was like, hey, that's cool. And she's got the best hair, so that's the best girl.
A man of a few criteria.
Discerning tastes.
There it is. Yeah. Well, actually, not discerning. I mean, discerning would imply a lot of different criteria.
Yes, that was. That's more than I rate normal girls.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
That's more than I.
I do think though that she's a worse girl, especially when it got to her backstory stuff, because it's boring, and it doesn't justify why she dropped out, why she has her like whole life set up the way it is.
Well, in my defense, and I guess in her defense of the story, my eyes glazed over that chapter, so I didn't. Yeah. I sped read through that because I was like, oh, drama. Okay, she's track. Something happened with the track team. Dropped out of school because it's, it goes back to like when you're a kid, you think everything is the most important thing ever in the world. Yeah,
especially your peers' opinions of you. Oh no, 17-year-old girl thinks I'm too good at track.
You're like, oh no, I got a D or I got a C- in my class. Now my life is ruined. Wearing the meat like literally means nothing.
Meanwhile, half the way through college, half my grades were F or W for withdraw.
And then even then, people are like, "Oh, you're gonna have to put your resume on or your GPA on a resume." It's like, nah. Like,
no, the secret is to cheat. You just say, "Oh, my major GPA was."
That's what everybody does.
Yeah, and that's what counts anyway.
Yeah, that's true. And I've never had anybody to ask to even see my diploma. That doesn't even happen.
I've had people ask for my what was it called?
Transcript?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
that's
it was
rare.
Actually that last one that I got really far into the...
Wow.
Actually, the last time that they requested it, I'd been out of school for 3 years or something. Or, like, that was their threshold, where if you've been out of school for 3 years, they don't ask. And I had, actually, but the dude was still asking for it. And I was like, uh-oh. Because I don't lie on my resume, but I implicate certain things that are...
that are factually correct,
yes, but misinterpretable if you were to actually see my real transcript. But luckily, I told him, look, it's going to cost, like, chump change, but also, like, 3 weeks, because it would.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. And I was like, nice. I didn't get the job, though, but whatever. It's not because
all's well that ends well.
Kinda.
And now you're still homeless, living in the box.
Uh-huh, yep.
That's why you should donate to our Patreon.
Whoa, our
Patreon / we haven't set one up.
Newproject2.com/bigguy4u.
We should do it. Yeah, we should do that.
It's invite only. Or request only.
Well, we'll request.
Well, we're not big guys enough.
I'm sure I'm sure Dick would love it.
I don't want to set up a Patreon thing, because then we wouldn't get any money.
Well,
it's like when you have like a tip jar that's empty. Nobody donates. I'm not going to donate to myself.
You got to prime the pump.
I'm not going to prime my own pump. And also, I don't want to ask for money because it's weird.
Yeah, we don't provide any service.
Yeah, not really.
You get the flight plan after dark. Ooh.
The unedited version
where we just swear.
Yeah.
You big guy for you fans are adults. You can handle a little swearing.
When will you realize that actions have consequences?
When will you learn?
When will you learn? You ruined Sonic, you freaking freaks. Man, rest in peace, Sammy. He's probably like 25 and like an adult now. And
yeah, he's married with
wife
kids.
And kids.
Yeah.
He's like wearing a business suit going to work.
And here we are talking about anime.
Dang.
On a Friday night.
Well, you don't have to tell them that. Wait, it's not.
It's not. I don't know. They don't know that.
Wait a minute.
This is coming out before Friday.
And you're listening to this on a Friday night. Maybe. 1 in 7 odds.
Press 1 in the chat.
Press Friday in the chat.
Press the Friday button on your computer.
Yeah. It's actually a combination of the FRIDAY buttons. In that order.
Press them all at once.
It's a really high level complex
plus shift
key command.
Caps lock.
Oh yeah, definitely caps lock.
Did you know caps lock is cruise control for cool?
Yeah, but it's also cruise control for bad manga. So don't use caps lock. I'm
telling you, I think that's a big thing. Go and look at your favorite mangas and see what they have to say. See how it's done. Look at professionally translated mangas.
Hold on. Let me do this. My favorite mangas don't use caps lock because they're in Japanese.
Oh man,
got him, dude. Got him,
dude. You're like galaxy brain.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm like a place further than the universe brain.
What a great reference. That's a throwback.
Yeah. Well, we're nearing towards the end, and
we're going further than the podcast episode into a place where the universe has all the links to all of the best content.
Oh, okay. Well, before you do that, I had no idea where you were going for like 10 minutes there, by the way. But before you do that, I was going to say we didn't quite get into the weeds, so to speak, about the waifu debate, but I think that's a good thing because I want to save it for the eventual waifu episode. And then we can really dish out the hardcore truths about who is best girl.
Well, you know how I picked mine, and I think that's pretty, like, solid criteria. Criterion.
Maybe. No, Criterion is singular. I always want to say Criterion.
It sounds cooler.
It does. Criterion.
It sounds like
Collection.
Chevron, which reminds me of Stargate SG-1, which is an awesome TV show.
Oh, yeah. Chevron reminds me of
Activate the chevrons
on highways.
Yeah.
The ones that use chevrons.
Well, a chevron is, I think...
It's a shape.
A term for, like, a sign shape, like a semiotic, like, reference.
Yeah.
Like a symbol.
It's like the one shape, but more chevron-like.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa, dude. That blew my galaxy brain.
Bro, what if, dude, the chevrons you see aren't the same ones that I see? They're different colors, man. What if your chevron is actually a square?
Dude. Oh my god, we're recording this at 4:20 p.m.
Whoa! I wish, man. It's so late.
Whoa.
I'm gonna go sleep and die. But before I sleep and die, where can they watch my mukbang sleeping channel?
ASMR sleeping. ASMR sleep eating. Like, sleep.
ASMR choking on food because they can't sleep and eat.
You know, actually, we both record the podcast through one of those ASMR microphones where you talk into the ear. So it's like we're whispering into ears every time.
Oh, have you ever listened to podcasts where they're mixed like that? One guy's on one ear and one's in the other?
No, I don't like that.
It's the most unpleasant experience ever. Especially if one of your headphones ears is busted.
Yeah, then you can't hear
which
the other
always
one.
happens to every pair of headphones.
Yeah, it is. That's like a standard thing. I don't know why you would do that. That's poor sound design. But have you seen those microphones for like ASMRs?
No.
Where it's the microphone is the shape of somebody's head.
Oh yes.
And like you talk into it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird.
That's really weird.
It's designed for ASMR. It's like special receptors and stuff. But
Well, I've seen them before ASMR really became a thing where
it was like a voice actress saying Oni-chan, and then you got Mr. Leahy
Nice.
falling down the stairs.
I don't know if I want Mr. Leahy in my Oni-chan.
No, because it's
fantasies.
like, no, you've seen that meme.
No.
Oh, okay. We'll put it in the show.
Put it in my inbox first. And where could they read show notes?
Where can they find the other inbox? You can.
I hate doing this.
You can do all the descriptions are in the link of the video and the podcast, whatever your RSS reader is, or the YouTube channel. You can find us all at Big Guy For You. Just search for the flight plan and the YouTube and all this .com every time. Rick and Morty 100 years.
Got him, dude.
Big flight plan.
PickleRick.com. There's Szechuan sauce.
What did we say the other day? What if Pickle Rick was something else?
Bro, what if it were Bacon Rick, dude?
Oh, dude,
epic.
Oh, dude, that would make an epic mealtime.
Oh, dude.
Dude, I said it. I said the thing.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
we
so
did
funny,
it.
Man, bacon is epic and hilarious and epic.
And delicious. Deliciously epic. Epically delicious.
For the win.
Oh, dude, for the win.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. This is sponsored by Loot Crate. Loot Crate.
We got an exclusive deal.
This is an exclusive sponsor. Loot Crate. How about Crate full of a random Loot Crate?
How about Manga Crate? Get a random big guy manga delivered to your inbox.
Unironically, why don't they have a manga crate like that? I bet they do.
I bet they do.
It's like it goes
Starting
back
tomorrow when I do it.
It goes back to that thing that I was talking about. Like in the West, they bundle like 3 comics together, and the first one is like Spider-Man. You're like, yeah, I love Spider-Man. The back one is like Avengers. You're like, yeah, I love Avengers. But you can't see what the middle one is, and it's always like Hello Kitty's Island Adventure, something that you're not interested in.
Real talk though. Of those 3, knowing what very little, admittedly, I know about the Western comic industry, I think I would prefer Hello Kitty over those.
That's just because the comic industry is garbage these days. But it removes the point because it's against the demographic of what you want.
Yeah.
And all they're trying to do is pump up the sales. That's what they need to do with Manga Crate. Why don't we start Manga Crate and then we can sponsor ourselves?
Well, the problem with manga, I don't know how it makes money. Same with dubs and stuff.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
Because it's like, who buys dubs?
Well, you do. You collect them.
Collect Japanese mangas, and only
Okay.
after I scanlate them as trophies.
Yeah, but people like trophies though. Like they think it's part of their collection. Haven't you seen basically every anime or video game YouTuber where they have a wall behind them full of all their soy toys?
Yeah, and I've told you to never let me get like that, and I worry that me collecting trophies is a step in that direction, but I think it's justified because I've earned them.
Yeah, so if your trophies are basically like once you finish scanlating a manga, you buy that chapter, you buy that volume.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. I mean, put them away when you invite girls over, but
or even my parents, I do put them away.
Even though it's like nobody would notice. I've been to your apartment and it's like it's hidden off in the wall.
You're even here right now.
Oh, spoilers! Breaking the fourth wall. Well, speaking of breaking things, let's break this plane as we crash it with no survivors.
All right.